Minasan konnichiwa, this is Matt Okahara from the Matsumoto Castle Gun Corps, and today we're going to look at the process for training Hōjutsu gunners. It is important to note that unlike other martial arts, that in Japan Hōjutsu, or the way of the gun, is also regulated by the government. Japanese firearms laws are notoriously strict. And if you're interested in finding about the legality of guns in Japan, you can watch that video here. But today we're going to talk about the induction of some new gunners into the Matsumoto Castle Gun Corps. Following the conclusion of the spring shooting season, the Matsumoto Castle Gun Corps ran a recruitment drive, and we had 4 successful applicants. And whereas some of the activities carried out by the team are procedural, it is of critical importance to introduce the new gunners into the way of the gun as soon as possible. As previously mentioned, Japanese firearms laws are extremely strict, and in many instances this will be the first time that a gunner has handled a firearm, let alone an antique firearm. Whilst the application procedure is going through for the handling of firearms and ammunition, the new member becomes familiar with the team. They take part in activities which assist the team in their gunnery. Activities such as erecting barricades, carrying match cords, and assisting with restoration work at Matsumoto Castle. But it isn't long before we can take them to the range and expose them to the use of firearms. The gun captain and senior gunners are charged with training the new arrivals in the way of the gun. The process itself runs from simple actions, such as knowing what the components of the gun are, to more complex actions, such as actually firing the device. And given the nature of the kind of weapons that we use, it is not only the students that are being assessed, but the gunnery instructors. The first shots are fired with priming powder only. This gives the gunner an appreciation of the firing mechanism. After all, the defining characteristic of a matchlock gun is the firing mechanism, and in order to prevent mishaps and misfires, it is important that the gunner has a solid understanding of that component part of the weapon. The Morishige-ryu of Hōjutsu does not start gunners off on a small weapon, such as a tanzutsu, which is a pistol, but rather on the banzutsu, which was the infantry weapon during the feudal era of Japanese warfare. And although underwhelming to look at when only the flash pan is primed, this is the first step in being able to fire live ammunition. In fact, the loading process in the Morishige-ryu is split into 8 distinctive steps. Once the barrel has ammunition inside it, the gunner has to prime the hizara, or the flash pan. This small aperture connects the flash pan to the main charge in the barrel, and finely ground gunpowder is poured into this aperture in order to start a chain reaction. This is then covered by the hibuta, which stops rain, wind or inclement weather disturbing the set of the charge. This action is carried out independently by the gunner, but the next order given by the gun captain is to load the match cord into the firing mechanism, or hibasame. The order kamae instructs the gunner to aim the weapon. The next order is to open the hibuta, or flash pan cover, and then of course they are instructed to open fire. The first iterations of this procedure happen quite slowly and of course very safely. But in order to be regarded as proficient with the use of the banzutsu, a gunner must be able to shoot 1 shot every 30 seconds. And this is where Hōjutsu becomes similar to other martial arts. Although not immediately apparent. Similar to a kata in karate, for example, Hōjutsu has a series of well-defined movements. And these movements allow the gunner to load, prime, and shoot the gun effectively. And similar to other martial arts, practice and dedication are vital. You cannot learn a martial art by accident, and the same can be said for Hōjutsu. Finally, I would like to say congratulations and thank you to our new gunners, and if you're interested in Japanese gunnery, then be sure to follow us at gunsamurai.com and our social media channels.